Hi, Virgo. This is Tisch Aitken, and I'm here to discuss your monthly horoscope for the month of May. So we have a lot of planets retrograding at this time, and there's a very reflective tone to the month of May, which I think might be helpful for all of us to kind of reconnect to how we can heal ourselves and to how to plan to move forward in a more effective way. So to begin with, Pluto station retrograde on April 25th at 24 degrees of Capricorn. And that fell in your fifth house of romance and creativity and self-expression. And Pluto is one of the key players of the year because Saturn and Pluto both met up at the world axis in Capricorn at 22 degrees of Capricorn on January 12th. And there's actually a huge stellium of planets of Capricorn at that time. And they all fell in your house of romance and creativity. And that's where you're restructuring. It's also the house of children. And if there's an area of your life where you felt unfulfilled creatively, this may be a time that you're reassessing that, you're reevaluating how you can be more so, finding joy again. It's been a very difficult year, obviously, for all of us. And but that's where a lot of this restructuring tale has been for you. And the other thing, too, is that Venus is about to retrograde. That's one of the main things of this year is Venus is retrograding, of this month rather, on May 13th. It's retrograding at 21 degrees of Gemini. And Gemini is your house of career. So Venus is going to be retrograding on May 13th at 21 degrees, and it stations direct on June 25th at 5 degrees of Gemini. So that's an area, because Venus only retrogrades once every year and a half. It doesn't retrograde very often, and it retrogrades in Gemini every 8 years. So this area of your chart, the house of career, is where you're reflecting how you can be more productive, because Venus is how we create, it's how we make money, it's what we love, it's what we value. So that is a reflective period, and you may find old projects come up. Maybe you're returning to things you haven't been able to do in a whole manner this year. Whatever it is, I would say that's an area of deep reflection for you professionally. And we have, let's see what else. Saturn's retrograding on May 11th. And Saturn also has been the key player of the year. You know, it met up with Pluto and rules this whole stellium of Capricorn that led the year. And Saturn briefly entered the sign of Aquarius on, let's see here, on March 21st. And it's going to re-enter Capricorn on July 2nd. And then it goes back into Aquarius for good on December 17th. And Saturn is briefly in your sixth house of work and daily routine and your daily regimen. So you could be reflecting, and that's where you want to structure your habits around health or your daily, Virgo is the sixth house in astrology. That is what it represents, being, working hard, health, nutrition, being of service. But that may be an area that you're trying to restructure, because with all of this, it's hard to practice self-care with all that's been going on. And that's where Saturn entered. It also could be meaning a lot of hard work that needs to get done. So we have that. We've got Jupiter, the other benefic, retrograding on May 14th. And Jupiter is retrograding also in Capricorn in your house of creativity and self-expression. So finding ways to find more joy in your life, even simple things, and to be creative, I feel. And we have a super moon on May 7th in Scorpio, and that falls in your third house of communication. And that could be local neighborhood stuff. Maybe you find out some information, maybe you hear from somebody from the past you haven't heard from in a long time. Since Venus is already in its shadow, it's about to retrograde. And this full moon is going to be intense because it doesn't like being in Scorpio. And it is opposing Mercury in Taurus. So information, again, can get uncovered. Mercury is the planet that rules your sign, and Mercury is in combat with Mars in the sky. So it's going to be a volatile full moon. So just recognizing that, be careful with how you express yourself, since this full moon is in your house of communication. Maybe you get some news you're not thrilled about, but kind of keep it temperate in how you respond, I guess. And the other thing, later in the month, we have a new moon in Gemini that takes place on May 22nd. And for you, that's also falling in the house of career, where you're doing some assessment with Venus retrograde. So that is where you could also experience new beginnings. And the new moon is a time to set new intentions, and that's falling in your house of career. So I wish you a lot of luck, and thank you very much. Take care.